Hello, everybody. This is Father Bennett coming from St. Stephen again, and we're continuing our Getting to Know You series. And this morning we're speaking with Bill. Bill, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Thanks, Father. My name is Bill Duffert. I'm a seminarian from the Archdiocese here. I'm in my third year of theology at St. Paul Seminary, and my family and I, we've been parishioners at St. Stephen's since I was in high school, so maybe 2002, 2003.
Excellent, excellent. And tell us about your family. Are children, siblings?
Yeah, so I have a younger brother, an older sister. They both work and live here in the Twin Cities. And then my mom and dad as well are just north of St. Stephen's right now.
Okay. And I was speaking with Father Jack last week, and I was telling him that I'm going to be talking to you today. He said,
Yeah.
Remind him that that he was in 8th grade. Is that when I first met Bill, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, at St. Vincent de Paul, right?
Yeah. So I grew up in Champlin, and so we were at St. Vincent de Paul up until probably sophomore year of high school when we moved up to the Ramsey area.
Well, we won't hold that against you.
Yeah.
And we won't hold your affiliation with Father Jack against you either.
Yeah, thank you.
So please tell us about your vocation story. When did you hear the call?
Yeah, it wasn't until probably my junior year of college that I started noticing in my prayer life. I started thinking and really praying about what God wanted to do with my life.
And where were you at for college?
So I was at St. Mary's University in Winona. And that's really when that question started coming up of, is God calling me to discern the priesthood? But at the time I was dating and I had plans for my life. So I graduated, started teaching, and I taught for about 3 years. And all the while thinking and praying still about whether God is calling me to discern the priesthood or not. And then finally, after graduating 3 years later, one day a priest asked me if I had ever thought about the priesthood. And that was like a light switch going off in my head and in my heart. I realized I had been thinking and praying about it for a long time. So maybe it was time to, call the vocation director and see what's going on. And so I joined the seminary, and now here I am in my third year of theology and about to be ordained a deacon on May 23rd.
Excellent, excellent. At 10 a.m., right? May 23rd at 10 a.m. at the cathedral?
At the cathedral, yeah.
Yes. And so we're hoping that will be live streamed, or even better yet, hopefully the cathedral will be open so that more people can join you for that important event.
Yeah, at the very least, I'm praying that my family can be there.
Yes.
So we'll find out.
And so tell us a little bit about your relationship with Jesus and what are the important moments of that?
Yeah, so my parents were really good about bringing us up in the faith. My siblings and I went to Catholic schools, kindergarten through high school. And my parents, both in their own ways, taught us about keeping God as a priority in our life. So I've always had that relationship with Jesus. And I think it was in the first year of seminary that I really started diving deeper into that relationship, what that means. Because as Catholics, we have a unique personal relationship with Christ in that we get to, receive his grace through the sacraments. We get to receive him in the Eucharist. So once I joined seminary and really started learning about the sacramental life and the faith, that really just opened up a deepening of this relationship with Jesus.
Great. And so who was influential in your faith life growing up?
Like I said, definitely my parents were influential. But also my grandparents on my mom's side were very influential. They were both witnesses to the faith in a way that I noticed even when I was younger. it struck me. I remember, for example, I remember my grandma, she was always doing some type of spiritual reading. And I asked her, when I was younger, I asked her once, what her Lenten observance was. And she said that she was reading through the entire catechism for Lent. And that just really, that struck me, that it was impressive that she was doing that.
Great, great. Well, and so you're finishing up your third year of graduate theological work. And so, I know that seminary life is very hectic and busy, but in your free time, what do you like to do?
Yeah, in my free time, I love movies. I love music, and I enjoy running, especially during this time of the coronavirus. It seems like I'm trying to get outside a lot more because we can't go see movies and we're stuck inside all day. So yeah, running has definitely been a hobby of mine.
Good. Now, when you started this journey into seminary formation, did you have any fear or trepidation as you began the process?
Yeah, there was. I never had thought about the priesthood, when I was younger. And so when I first started discerning, I didn't know any seminarians. Even though I went to Catholic schools, I didn't know any seminarians, and I didn't know, what they did at the seminary. So there was a fear of kind of the unknown in a way. And then also, I guess there was also a fear of telling my friends and family too. Not really sure how they would react, which, looking back, both of those fears, completely went away once I told my family, and once I joined the seminary. Those fears were completely gone. And it kind of reminds me of how sometimes our fears don't really match up with reality or with the truth, right? Because my family and my friends, they were all very supportive. And the seminarians that I met when I joined the seminary were a lot like me, and they were just normal guys. And some of them had careers before seminary like me. And yeah.
So, what are some of the joys of seminary formation thus far for you, and what have been some of the challenges?
I would say a big joy is just being able to grow closer to Christ, specifically through discerning what He's calling me to do with my life. We're very in the seminary. Our schedule is very steeped in prayer, so we have a holy hour in the morning, and then we have a community prayer, what's called morning prayer. Our mass is around noon. We have a community prayer called evening prayer, and then we also have night prayer. So getting into that rhythm of a prayer life has been a great joy for me, and it's kind of been it's been foundational for me in my growth and my formation. And then I guess for the challenges, one challenge that is tough is that the length of time in formation can be kind of long. So typically a guy's in formation, as you know, for either 6 years or 8 years, depending on their educational background. And so sometimes in class, I'll think, I'll get antsy, and I will think about, I wish I was in a parish, doing something. But I have to remind myself that, what I'm doing in class, what I'm doing here in formation is bearing fruit and is serving my future parish in some way. So it's a challenge, but it's been a great grace.
That's right. I've noticed that nothing is ever wasted with God. And
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
even in those classes when I'm sitting at seminary thinking, where on earth am I going to ever need this information again?
Yeah,
It surprises you when you're out doing ministry that, oh yeah, I remember that from second year of theology. So yeah,
yeah,
nothing is wasted. Nothing is
yeah.
wasted. Yeah.
So I'll keep
And
all my notes.
that's right. So as you're getting ready for ordination to the diaconate on the 24th, um, it's 24th or the 23rd?
23rd.
23rd.
Yeah.
23rd. What are you looking forward to in your deacon ministry?
I would say, yeah, getting into a parish for our summer assignment. Typically, the deacon is ordained at the end of May, and then he has the summer in a parish. And I'm looking forward to just, I guess, learning about parish life, experiencing parish life. And even though it'll be a little bit different than expected because of all the restrictions and the coronavirus, I'm still looking forward to actually being in a parish, and also participating in the sacramental life in a different way than I ever have. Because as a deacon, I'll be able to baptize and witness marriages, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And preach, and
And preach
preach,
as well. Yeah,
right? And so tell me about your favorite saint.
my favorite saint. One of my favorite saints is Padre Pio. He was one of the first biographies that I read, and he was really influential for me because up until that point, I had always thought about saints as being people that lived centuries ago, right? And this saint that I was reading about, Padre Pio, was celebrating Mass when my parents were young, right? Like he was alive when my parents were growing up. I think he died in 1968, maybe. And so for me to see that, and there's pictures of him. He had the stigmata, so there's pictures of him with the stigmata. There's
And what are
video.
stigmatas?
Pardon me.
What are stigmatas? Explain that to the folks.
Yeah, so he had the signs of Christ's wounds during his passion. So I think with Padre Pio, he had on his hands and on his feet, he had those marks of where the nails would have been on Christ, similar to Saint Francis and other mystics. So to see that, and also to see video footage of Padre Pio celebrating Mass, it made me think about the saints in a different light, I suppose.
Great. And do you have a favorite scripture passage?
Yeah, one of the priests here on faculty recommends and suggests that we, find different parts of the Psalms that we can say at all times, and it doesn't have to be the full chapter. It can be a verse or two, just to draw us closer to the Lord in times of trial or times of temptations. And one that's really stuck with me lately is the beginning of Psalm 18, where the psalmist simply says, "I love you, Lord, my strength, my shield, my fortress." And so those quick prayers are good for me, just to get me out of myself and return the focus back on the Lord.
Great. Bill, well, thank you very much for taking time from your schedule. This is the final week of classes for you, and then you have final exams next week.
This
And
is,
then,
yes, great for me.
and then I think Liberation Day is the 23rd, that Friday, when the seminary opens up so that you can escape from that place, right?
Yeah. Yeah, as you know, we about a month and a half ago, we decided to go into a cloister-like community. So we've been hunkered down here, but spirits are high, and I think we're ready to return to our homes or our parishes.
Sure. Any closing remarks this morning?
Yeah, I would say to anyone who is discerning the priesthood or thinking about that's on their heart, I would just encourage you not to let fear hold you back from what the Lord is inviting you to discern. And also, there was a book that was really helpful when I was first discerning. It's called "To Save 1,000 Souls." I would check that out if you are discerning.
And I think that's the second time we've heard that title. And
Oh, is it?
yes, and so I echo your sentiment. If God is calling you to priesthood, the only requirement of us is to give God a shot and to respond generously to that invitation, because it's a wonderful life. It's a great, great life. And so know of our prayers for you as you make these final preparation on this important step in your life. As you lay on the floor of the cathedral, as the prayers of the saints are prayed upon you, know that the saints here at St. Stephen is also praying and beseeching God on your behalf also. Okay, so
Thank you, Father.
thanks for taking the time, and
Yeah,
God bless
happy
you.
to. Thank you.